So now we are going to start with some recap of things that we have studied till now. In any project, we know that there is a phase called project initiation, where we hire a project manager or informally give the responsibility if project manager is already hired, right? And next, in initiation, we work on basic scope document so that project manager can work on project management plan. Okay, then we go to project plan. In project plan, we write various plans like risk management plan, stakeholder management plan, cost management plan, schedule management plan. And if we talk about cost and schedule management plan, there is something very important. We call it network diagram, right? So network diagram is very useful tool for displaying the sequence of the activities, like which activity start first, which is second, why we are doing it. Simple, that if you are preparing a cake, you can't pack the cake before it is baked, right? It should go to baking process first, right? And even before that, you should know that first you need to work on dough, right? We call it atta also, right? We need to make it dough, right? So if we know sequence of activity, and if we provide each activity and represent it by a rectangle, and each arrow represent a dependency between two activities. We can have many different ways to create that. If you are using Microsoft Project, it is already there. Just create your WBS. WBS is work breakdown structure, and after that, you can just click on WBS. You will find your uh, you'll find your network diagram if you click on network diagram. All right. Okay. So in sequencing activities, we know that it is a process of identifying and documenting relationship among the project activities. What is the benefit? It's the process that define the logical sequence of work to obtain the greatest efficiency given all project constraints. For example, if you don't know that foundation, you can paint only after working with walls. Walls are are developed properly, then you know that you need to call painter only after wall work is done, right? So we can understand it with this diagram, right? And we can also have some concepts of lead and lag. Okay, so 2 weeks lead means that previous activity, when it is activity is about to finish in 2 weeks, we can start the next activity. Okay, that is called lead. And lag means difference between the activities. If you start that activity and after this much time, you will start the next activity. That's called lag. All right. And there are some mandatory dependency. We call it hard logic, like contractually required or inherent in the nature of the work. You can't edit the content that has not been written. Correct? Yeah, that's right. You can't decorate the cake if it is not baked. These are mandatory dependencies. Okay. Another part of dependency is external dependency involve a relationship between project activities and non-project activities, which is outside project team's control, and you need an occupancy permit before you move in. These kind of dependencies are external dependencies. An important part of that is everywhere, whatever you do in project management, every week, every day, you have to deal with lots of different people. We call it stakeholders. And if somebody is arrogant and somebody is not responding to your emails, so what do we call? So we don't call that person arrogant. We call that a difficult stakeholder. Okay. So make sure you use proper project management terminologies all the time. Okay, you have to be politically correct. All right, and there are some dependencies which have some soft logic which can be changed. Okay, so established based on best practices within a particular application area or some unusual aspect of the project where specific sequence is desired. But these things must be documented, must be reviewed, also known as preferential. Okay, it is best to gather requirement before beginning design work. All right. And internal dependency involves an internal relationship that the team does not have control over. Another project team is scheduled to use a piece of equipment, for example, resource constraints. All right. Now, let's talk about project schedule. You know that in addition to network diagram, there are many different types of project schedules that may be used. Okay, so there's no one way. We can create in different ways, right? So all depends on what kind of project you have, how complicated it is, and you can decide what kind of technology, what kind of approach you are going to use. Okay, so there are three main types that can be discussed. One is milestone based, right? Then it could be activity based, and third would be dependency based. I'm not saying that only one type of scheduling technique you are going to use. We are using all three, right? Okay. So give me a minute, please. 1 minute, please. Now, since you are studying project management, next topic is critical path. And maybe you can use paper and pen and write down what do you think, what is critical path. Don't find any resource from any internet or any other sources. please make sure you write your answer. Consider it is a in-class activity and you have 2 to 3 minutes to write your answer. Write it and then again check if it is correct as per you. Then write one paragraph properly. What do you think is critical path and why it is important? Okay, take 5 minutes and write it in your language. Don't try to find answers from online resources for now, because obviously we are going to talk about it. All right. All right. So critical path, if we can explain it, so we might have multiple paths in a project that we start a project, we'll have multiple tasks. Okay. And then we create a network diagram that which task will start first, which task will start second. And then we have something like this. Okay. In this, what is that? That we have multiple things. Like first is, for example, we have to go for vacation. So we have to select destination and then we have to apply for passport. First task and second and third task are book vacation and pack for vacation. Now you can think which is the longest path. Longest path in terms of number of days. Here in number of days, what do you think? Although we have two tasks in later path. Okay, see that. Yeah, so we can understand it is the longest sequence of activities in a project schedule. This sequence then present the earliest planned completion time for the project. What does that mean? That if we have this project that you can see, it's like select vacation 2 days, book vacation 1 day, pack for vacation 1 day means 4, and depart day number 5. But the challenge is apply for passport. Passport will take 10 days anyway. So what we understand here, that whatever things are there in different paths, but finally most important path is apply for passport. So without applying for passport, we can't complete the task. Correct? So now can we write the definition again? Take another minute and write your definition. Okay, so our definition could be this, that the longest sequence of activities in a project schedule. This sequence then represents the earliest planned completion time. We can't complete the project if we have book vacation and pack for vacation. Correct? It can be complete only when your passport is there. Right? So now, what do you think? What is the critical path here? Is it 2, 1, 1, 1, 5 or 2, 10, 1, 13? Now we know the longest path in terms of days is apply for passport. That means our project timeline is 13 days. Making sense? All right. Now we are going to talk about a few more things in project planning. It means team planning, quality, and risk planning. Okay. Now, if we talk about team planning, you know that project can be completed with the resources, and resources are human resources, cost resources, and material resources. Correct? It means these resources are used to complete the project. The most critical resource that we used to think is material, like labor. No, material means cement, iron, computers. Okay, that is material resources. And the most critical resource, what I think, is work resource. Work resource means team members who are working on the project. That's why we are working on team planning. So we will decide who will work on the project and how the project be organized. All right. Now, if we talk about who will work on the project, what can we think? Okay. As the project plans are created, project team members need to brought into the project in order to complete the required activities. Okay. So now the question is, from where project manager acquired the team members? What do you think it is? So answer could be from human resource manager. You can ask your HR manager. You can either ask your recruitment agencies that you can recruit these human resource for us, or you can go to a staffing agency, like give me this resource for 10 days. The staffing agency will arrange that kind of skill set for you. Right? Now, if you know there are multiple ways you can acquire team members, now what are the advantages and disadvantages of each source? If you're going to hire your team members using your company's HR manager, the process is typically slow because HR manager will take some approvals and then float your requirement to various job portals, and slowly they will check that profile. If it profile is matching or not, then you will get some shortlisted candidates. It's good for you because you don't have to worry about many things, but at the same time you are going to uh, wait for longer processes because they are sometimes busy. All right. So now, what else? Advantage of first point is that your team member, like HR manager, is there for you. Okay, they understand the project. They can change the speed of the work, whether slow, fast, or something, just because of understanding of complexity. Disadvantage, they might have different things, and you need proper approval to expedite your work. Second, acquisition resource acquisition pattern is you talk to staffing agency. Staffing agencies are good for day-to-day labor jobs, but they may not work very well, very quick for skilled jobs. Yeah, they have some skilled people around that, but it is again taking time. And then you can go to job consultants. Yeah, they might also have different kind of resources who can help you to find desired candidate. Okay, and if we talk about few more methods, you can have some internal project team members you can hire from your organization itself, or you can hire by organization like new hires, or you can get some contract workers. Okay, this is another way of getting people for your projects. Okay, so make sure you understand that internal recruitment is very important because you know those people already. Okay, you need to hire new people if it is required, or you need to get some contract worker. What is the difference in new hires and contract workers? New hires means you hire person in company's payroll, and contract workers means they are hired just for contract, like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. That's how contracts work. All right. Now let's talk about this one, advantages and disadvantages of each sources. So use of internal human resource involve acquiring team members for a certain period of time as required by the project. They might be assigned to the project full time or certain percentage of the part time. Maybe somebody will work Monday and Tuesday in the project, not other days. Maybe every day, first half you work on that project and second half you work on different tasks. Okay. Internal staff members are more likely to be familiar with the company, and sometimes they are known to the project manager as well. All right. The experience gained during the project will stay within the organization and may be applied to future projects. However, there are a limited number of internal staff. Okay, you might need to hire few more employees. Okay, now if we talk about new employee Second option is very important. You need to hire team members. All right. So based on your requirement, you can hire them. Okay. And advantage of that would be you will get a new skill set. Suppose if in my team nobody understand how MS Project work, Microsoft Project, so I can raise a new requirement instead of training my employees, and that may take 2 or 3 months. I can hire somebody who is already expert in Microsoft Project software. Okay, so that's how this is my advantage. Okay, and read the disadvantage at the last line, right? You can see the disadvantage. Now it's contractors. See, we have some positive and negative points for contractors as well. So contractors are very important for a project because you can hire a contractor to finish the job. Sometimes they have to complete, they have to provide only resource like work resource. Sometimes they provide complete solution. For example, if you hire a contractor for managing the parking, they will have their devices, equipment, and resources, human resources to manage complete parking operations. All right. So that's how you work with contractors to resolve your any problems. Okay. And we need to work on creating HR requirements. All right. When we create HR requirement, we need to make sure that the requirement is clear. One example of creating HR requirement means human resource requirement is job description. If you can go to indeed.ca and just search project coordinator or designer, Java developer, or whatever job, you'll find a complete job description. It will start with company name, what company is doing, then project introduction, and after that, the work introduction, what work we are doing in the project. And after that, we will have mandatory requirements. And then we'll have nice to have requirements. And we also write some perks and benefits. All right. So link of the video will be shared with you so that you can watch it in your spare time. So how can we provide HR requirement properly? It start with the project schedule. For example, Sophie is able to determine the type of human resource required and timing. Okay, this is a case study and we are taking things from case study. And Sophie works with a resource manager. This is a role that is present in many organization, resource manager or HR manager. Okay, who have project required human resources that are needed. And then we need to document. Okay, then acquire the human resource needed to complete the project. All right, making sense? Now the question is, how will the project be organized? So when we start the project, we need to understand there are many stakeholders. You understand the definition of stakeholder. It is number one, your project sponsor or high level people who are expecting a lots of things from the project. For example, project sponsor, CEO, your clients. All right. Second level of stakeholders can be your project team members. Now, if we are talking about this role, for example, the roles and responsibilities that we need to document it. That who will do what work. Okay. So when we form the project team, we provide roles and responsibilities to all the team members. Okay. And we document it properly. All right. So each team member is listed in the project role and responsibilities. Okay. So we define properly roles and responsibilities for the team member. Okay. Second is responsibility assignment matrix. What is that? It's basically a tool where we provide responsibility to team members. And a common form of responsibility assignment matrix is RACI chart. RACI chart means responsible, accountable, uh, and third is consulted, C, and final part is informed. Like what is the role of that team member? So if it is informed, obviously you need to inform your CEO all the time. You cannot consult them. Okay. Now, how to create that? It looks like this. Like you write name of the people, and then we have different type of tasks. Like trade show, who is consulted? These three. Who is accountable and responsible? This time, Chris is accountable also and responsible also. Okay, that's how we write RACI chart. Okay, so it provides useful information to the people working on the project, right? Like we can see that in previous screen that Maddie will ensure the video is completed. A is accountable. Maddie and Ellie perform the work that is responsible, and then Arun, Sophie, and Fatehjeet to provide input, which is consulted in a meeting, and Sarah to be informed periodically. That informed is I. Okay, and in this task, Chris will not be involved. Okay, so define the involvement of team members by defining who is accountable, responsible, consulted, and informed for the deliverable of the project. So how will the project be organized? The project organization chart that we have to create. Like organizations often use organization charts to demonstrate the structure of the company and the reporting relationships. The same is done for projects, particularly very large and complex ones. Create a project chart demonstrating the organization of the project. We can create it. All right. Now we are going to talk about quality planning in next 2-3 minutes.
All right, we are going to talk about quality planning. What do you think what is quality? If we talk about quality, it is conformance to the requirement. There are many definitions, but I believe performance of the requirement is one of the best definition of quality. It should be fit for the purpose. Okay, if we have a requirement of something, we should do that work. That's the one definition of quality. So in project quality means right features to satisfy customer needs. Okay, and with limited failures. We will have failures, but it's fine. All right. So Edward Deming said that we need to improve the process. All right. The quality should be designed into product rather than relying on inspection. Means we should be working on flawless projects or product instead of checking if it is right or not. By definition, things should be good. All right. So what we do quality planning, we have quality assurance, and we have quality control after that. Right? Now, if we talk about quality standards for the project, we can have many. For example, it consists of requirements, specifications, or characteristics used to ensure the output of the project meets the desired level of quality. Right? So they may be like quality standards related to product, service, or result. All right, it can be documented in project resource, or it can be standards of the organizations to be followed by the project. All right, it can be documented in the quality management plan. All right. So what can be the quality standards for the project? Maybe key consideration of defining standard. How will the project standard will be measured? Okay, and what does significant mean? All right. It means what is the significant here? Means how will you measure something, right? So we need to understand how to document these things so that after you are not there in the project team, everybody can still work properly in that project, right? So if we talk about what are the quality standards for the project, these are matrices and tolerances and how they improve the measurement of standards, right? So if we talk about matrices and tolerances, matrices may be numerical value that are used to make objective quality measurement. For example, if we have to write 2,500 words, right, we call it significant length. However, it is unlikely that essay will be exactly 2,500 words, all right? So therefore, we can have some tolerance level, means minimum and maximum. We can have 200 words is the tolerance level. Like your essay could be 2,300 to 2,700 words, right? But if word limit is 2,000 or 3,000, then it is going beyond our tolerance level, which is not acceptable, right? So this is how we define matrices and tolerance level. Okay, now what are the quality standards for the project? Sometimes it is very confusing. Sometimes we confuse with goals and objectives of a project and quality standard. So how to do goals and objectives differ from quality standards. Now we are going to talk about it. So goals and objectives describe what the project is designed to achieve, the goal, and specific and measurement outcome of the project. And quality standard describe the characteristics of the project's deliverable, the way the project operate. All right, and then we need to work on quality management plan, and I'm going to show these videos. I'll upload these videos in the portal so that you can visit and watch these videos in your free time. All right, So quality management plan contains the quality standard of the project and assurance activities that can be performed, quality control activities, and roles of the project, quality roles of the project, right? Now we are going to talk about risk planning in very short time. So let's take a short break of 5 minutes and we'll come back and we'll talk about risk planning.
Now, what is risk in a project? In real life, risk is always negative, that what we consider. But in a project environment, risk is uncertainty, right? Uncertainty is the risk, nothing else. It's not negative, not positive. Means it's either negative or positive, both risk. All right. All right. So what we do in risk planning, we think of things which can go wrong or which can be deviated from the original plan. And how can we manage the risks? Most of the time, we'll talk about negative things, which means what can go wrong during the project. That's the one definition of managing risk, because we need to manage negative things first. And in detail, when we are going to study risk management, we will got to know about risk opportunities as well, right? For example, what can go wrong? Okay, first step is to consider everything that could possibly go wrong, and then how can we identify that? Maybe we can talk to various stakeholders, all right, and research into previous projects as well, and identify risk like this. How likely is that the risk will occur? It means, what is the probability? If it will happen, what will be the impact? It means impact, correct? And now understand probability and impact. The probability and impact can be measured qualitatively, like high, medium, and low. Okay, or they can be described as quantitatively, like 10% probability or 10,000 impact. Both can be. Okay. So, for example, we can have something like this: probability, likely, possible, unlikely. And impact, maybe critical impact is 10, severe is 8, moderate 5, and low is 2. All right. I'm going to show this video. Maybe I will upload these links later on. Let's not watch videos in this lecture. So we can see that after that, you come back to this lecture and you can see that project manager identify risks as possible things that can happen. Okay. And we place those information in risk register. Okay, that's called risk register. Okay, so we can have some risk response strategies, that what can we do with those risks, and any risk that remain after the performing the risk response strategy is called residual risk. It is still there. Okay, then we have to take an action for contingency plan. And what kind of plan we can have? We can have risk acceptance. You can say, okay, it will happen. Let's not take any action until this happens. Risk mitigation, we reduce the probability or impact of the risk. Risk avoidance, we just remove the task where risk may happen. Risk transfer, basically we transfer the risk to another party. For example, if we have a car, in case of accident, we have to pay if it is our fault. So what we do, we transfer the risk to the insurance company. That's an example of risk transfer. And risk escalation means it's outside the scope of the project, and it is communicated to the project sponsor and higher authorities that you manage that. All right. That's all for today's lecture. And please follow all the given links in the learning management system, Canvas, and finish those required tasks. If you have any question, you can connect me anytime. You have my email ID. I will respond to you within 24 hours.